Morning, friends and family. John Miller, your Lake Stevens Realtor, coming at you on a Monday, November 9th, 2020. Fall's nice and chilly this morning. Fall is quickly falling away, and we're getting close to winter. They say we're going to have a nice, long, cold winter. A lot of frost in the ground this morning. We had a food drive this weekend here in the shopping center that we're in. Appreciate everyone who volunteered and donated. It was a real success. The food bank really needed the donation, so appreciate it. If you came out, thank you very much. This week's question, more questions from sellers. This week's question from Snohomish, Washington. Should I be present during a showing? That's come from a seller, obviously. And the answer, and almost unequivocally, is no. And there's a number of reasons why. And I understand sellers wanting to know what's being said, how the showings are going. We will try to get, as a listing agent, I try to get you as much information from the selling agents as possible, much feedback as possible. But the reality is, you really want to give the buyer as much time in the property as possible without you being there. If you are there, they will feel pressured to leave. And the longer they're in the home, the more chance they will want to buy your house. So we've done the studies. That's not open for argument. And overall, that's what happens. I mean, I know you want to be there. It's a source of pride. You may want to show things, show off things that maybe the selling agent is not. I get that, but unfortunately, the best way to do it is let the selling agents do their job. Leave the buyer in peace. Go to the 7-Eleven, get a Slurpee, go walk the dog, whatever you need to do. Give them as much time as possible. I'll give you some examples on why it's not a good idea. I was showing a house where we were there and the seller was there, and the seller was speaking to the buyer in the kitchen. I was actually out in the living room. But the seller gave up some things that they would be willing to do during negotiations, some terms that they would be willing to let go. And we did make an offer, and obviously we offered accordingly, because that's what she said. She was not happy. She felt we were taking advantage of her because of what she had said, and we were right. We did. That's, if you make that statement, that's not confidential. That's what went on. We never did get the house, but it left a lot of really hard feelings. Both the seller and the selling agent were unhappy. Selling agent knew that she wasn't angry with me or anything, but she didn't counsel her seller properly, that you shouldn't be there at all, and you certainly shouldn't say anything to the seller. Second example, I was showing a house here in, I think it was Mukilteo some years ago, and the seller was there, and we were walking around the house. And the seller was confused as to my client's relationship, and they questioned their familial status. That is absolutely a no-no. That's discriminatory. That's not even, you can't even ask those questions. I called the listing agent, let him know, and he was very apologetic and counseled his seller that they need to leave during showings from then on, because that's a big no-no. But we get it. We understand. People, it's your house. It's a source of pride. You put a lot of work into it, getting ready for sale, and you don't want to know what's being said. You want to know how those showings are going. So a lot of people go the next step, and those cameras that you see, the Ring doorbell and all the cameras, they're very affordable right now. The nanny cams, whatever you want to call them, both indoor and outdoor, those are very affordable. So a lot of people are utilizing those to watch the showings going on. Here's the problem. In Washington State, you don't have the permission to do that. That's also a no-no. You need consent from people. Even if you put a sign up in your house, you are being recorded. That is still a no-no. You can't just arbitrarily record in a home like that, people in your home. Outside, obviously, you don't have an expectation of privacy. In someone's home, you would, and without consent, that's a no-no. The problem with that is, and this is kind of a long argument, is that there's really no way of enforcing that. No one's going to go into somebody's house and do a search for cameras. So what I tell my buyers is, if we are looking at a home, assume you're being recorded. And if this is a home that you want, let's wait until we leave. I used to tell people, let's wait until we go out in the driveway. But with those Ring doorbells and the outdoor cameras, now we got to wait till we leave. And then you say, hey, this is a phenomenal home. I think it's the one for us. Let's talk about putting some terms together. At any rate, I tell myself, no, the cameras, you can have cameras in your house, you just can't record people. That's just a no-no. So it's, obviously with technology being the way it is, we have to make allowances. We have to be on top of what we're doing at all times. If you have any questions, both as a buyer or a seller, as to your rights and responsibilities regarding any of that, please let me know. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding or hard feelings or somebody crying foul, and obviously you got people pointing fingers. It's never a happy time. So always best to play by the rules. At any rate, interest rates this week, another record 2.78 on a 30-year fixed. Look at that. Look, 2.78. Crazy on a 30-year fixed loan. So we're finally, I'd like to say we're past the election, but it looks like we have a President Biden and Vice President Harris, but there's still a lot of questions regarding that. So I don't know. Eventually we'll figure it out. At any rate, wherever you are, stay warm, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next week.